Hello everyone, Watch This Review here with a look at the Green Lantern Classics Wave 2. At least it's kind of a 3-pack with the Yellow Lantern, Despotellis, the Green Lantern, the Dig, and of course Rage Cat himself, Dex-Starr. Technically it's just really one normal figure pack and everything, but it does feature 3 characters, and that's kind of the interesting thing with the line where they have a more avant-garde approach where a lot of the characters have interchangeable parts, so you're buying like 2 figures at once. And other characters will, well, in this case, you're buying 3 separate characters, but, hold on a second and I'll get out a pack. Since this is the first Green Lantern Classic pack that I've opened, I wanted to start by, taking a closer look at the inner card here, but unfortunately I damaged it opening it up. I was a little upset at first, but I realized that most of the damage was restricted to the Kyle Rayner portion, which I honestly was okay with, but if you take a quick look here, very nice display. The pack comes with I can't really say the figure because there are 3 figures here. Comes with the torso piece of, what was it, Stella? Not too familiar with Estelle. Sorry, not Stella. Stella is the female version of Stell. No, it's not. But yeah, I'm not familiar with the character at all, other than it being a really cool looking figure. I wouldn't mind picking it up, but I'm not sure if I will buy the whole wave to complete it. We'll have to play it by ear. Now, as for the pack itself, it's the same price as all the other figures in the line. It's no special consideration or anything. When I first heard they were going to be doing a 3-pack, I had assumed that, it was going to be like a separate thing. But, when you stop to think about it, it's really not a great value, just in terms of that all these characters could have really done more as pack-ins. I mean, if you look at Despotellis here, well, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, he basically looks like an energy construct, and would easily have made for an accessory, whereas the other 2, again, could have just been little pack-in items. It would have been neat if instead of doing a collect and connect, each figure in the wave just had a smaller character like this. I mean, of course, I'm not sure how they're going to introduce some of the smaller characters into like the regular DC Universe Classics lines, such as Mr. Mizio Pitlick, which of course is a character I would look forward to seeing in the regular DC Universe Classics line. But as mentioned, these 2 are kind of, more accessory qualities or pack-ins than full-fledged figures, both in terms of size and articulation, where they're kind of limited. I mean, it would have been nicer if they'd included, say, a few more figures or tossed in some additional constructs and stuff, whereas the only real accessory for this pack is the blood barf. I mean, there's just so many different ways they could have done it just to kind of made the value more comparable to the rest of the wave. But taking a closer look at the figures, I guess let's start with Despotellis here. It's just a solid piece of translucent yellow plastic. He's a living virus that gained a power ring, and he has the ability to replicate himself. So it would have been neat if we'd gotten several Despotellises in here, but no such luck. I'm not too familiar with this character. Now the next one, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's Bedig or something along those lines. A squirrel-raced Green Lantern. Kind of a neat-looking one. Now his only articulation are these hinged shoulders. They aren't even ball-jointed, which is disappointing. And then the hinged hips here. And sliders. I mean, it does look kind of nicer than if they'd gone with ball-jointed ones, just because those would stick out a bit more, or even the normal way of them swinging out. And then he has a moving tail and a rotating only head here. Not a lot of paint detailing outside the fur, but I mean, you know, kind of cool character. Of course, I imagine most people did buy this pack for Dex-Starr, the most iconic of the Red Lanterns. Well, if not iconic, at least the most popular one, because he has quite the fan following as the Rage Cat. Originally introduced as a joke character, he eventually got more and more popularity. Believe it or not, he's actually a cat from Earth, so we have blue cats apparently. A really nice figure. He was probably the one I was most looking forward to when they announced this wave. Even though, you know, not a ton of articulation on him or anything. He does come with his projectile Red Lantern blood vomit, which has an acidic quality, allowing them to burn away at stuff. I mean, I've had a cat throw up on me once or twice. I can tell you that stuff's not pleasant, so I can imagine it being used as a lethal weapon, like in this case. Again, you know, not a lot of articulation, just hinged shoulders. I wish they had opted for ball-jointed shoulders, just because those wouldn't be obtrusive anyway. And you'd get, like, additional movement, but as you can see, he kind of has the whole "rawr, I'm gonna get you." Rawr, rawr, rawr. Cats don't say "rawr." Guess he'd probably hiss or something. A head that has a bit more motion than Bidig's, whereas it has full rotation in addition to a little up and down. Hinge tips, so he can kind of sit if cats sat like that. And then a rotating tail. Again, definitely my favorite out of the set, and you know, it kind of justified the purchase for me. There's a little bit of paint detailing on the head, just where you have darker portions, but in general, you know, not a whole lot of paintwork here either. My overall impression, all these are pretty nice figures, at least these two guys are really nice figures. This is just more of a generic thing. But I mean, they just didn't kind of handle it all that well. They really should have included either more smaller characters or put them in with the other characters or something. It's kind of a waste just to do it like this, but you know, people will buy it anyway. For one thing, you have Dex-Starr here. For another thing, you do need it to assemble the Collect and Connect. But I mean, I really just wish they had gone, you know, just another route with this. But this has been a look at the, well, kind of a 3-pack, but not really a 3-pack of Despotellis, Bidig, if I pronounced that right either, and Dex-Starr, who I'm pretty sure I pronounced right. Until next time, folks.